Today, we celebrate Martin Luther King Jr., honoring the man who moved millions with the power of his voice and his message. Tonight at the Holland Performing Arts Center, Omaha students competed in the 8th annual Living the Dream competition. First Alert 6's Andrew Pfeiffer with those inspiring change.
I never truly tell you how to heal.
If you use the right words, you can provoke change. For Bryan High School junior Andrea Chaparro, she's inspired by her roots.
I'm representing people with dreams. I'm representing the land of opportunities.
She is an inspiration, gives me hope for the future.
And tonight, dreams are not just tomorrow's empty promise.
On this night, students competed for the Living the Dream competition, a Martin Luther King inspired event with cash prizes.
It's a speech / poetry / dance, music. My piece is a speech. It's called The Promise.
For South Omaha families, Andrea's message hits home. She's fighting for immigrant students who feel the American dream is slipping away.
It overall depicts my promise to future generations, to come into anyone who's listening to my speech today.
It's the combination, the rare combination of natural ability, natural talent, combined with a work ethic.
Nicholas Clausen is one of her high school teachers. He was quick to acknowledge her ability.
I would watch the other students' reactions. They would say they got chills, you know, their hair is standing up. Some of them even, you know, tearing up.
An advocate for the South Omaha community, Chaparro says she wants to bring change, just like the King himself.
This is our form of protest, and this is exactly how we should be living Dr. Martin Luther King's legacy and dream.
Andrea didn't win the competition tonight, but she says her generation's voices are just getting started. She'll continue advocating for South Omaha students, proving that Dr. King's dream is still very much alive.
I truly believe that this country, at times, we lose sight of what that American dream, of what that American promise is. And I want to highlight that us as students, as the youth in our community, speaking up is a way of protecting that promise.
Andrea is also really big into pageants, winning the Miss Inspirational Teen USA pageant. Chaparro will be heading to the Dominican Republic in 2 weeks to compete for the world crown. And when asked what she wants to do for a living, she wants to be a journalist, Brian. Isn't that something?
Yeah, I always love to hear that. Andrew, thanks for sharing her story. We have new construction work underway for the Omaha streetcar. The meeting's happening this week where you can ask some questions about the changes. Also ahead,